Welcome aboard. This is the RFactor2 competition system 30-minute intermediate race from Brands Hatch in the Ferrari 488 GT3. I'm having a ball here at Brands Hatch. It took me a while to get used to it. This is Friday afternoon's race, which was a fantastic race, so I thought I'd make a short little video highlights. I qualified in 11th, probably with a clean lap. My best quality time would have put me into about a 7th. I was a sort of a high 24s, and I can do a low 24s now with a prevailing wind. My hot lap got a bit interrupted. A chappie was on his out lap and didn't realise or didn't think to get out of the way, so I was stuck behind him for the second half of his out lap, which kind of ruined my best one. We spoke afterwards and he apologised, and so it was all good, lesson learned. Now I'm running the medium tyre, which is the most interesting thing about this race. I'm using crew chief, and my engineer Jeff, once the race starts, will tell you what the other guys are using. Nearly everyone's on softs. Certainly the guys I was fighting ahead of me are on softs. So I'm trying pretty hard to get my medium tyres as warm as possible on this out lap, which isn't always easy because people side you a lot of the time. So let's see how this unfolds. If Hollywood wrote the script, the second half of the race I would make some nice position gains as the soft tyres lose their sheen and start to go away from the drivers in front. I am going to make a short basic setup video regarding this car and this track as well, so if you haven't already seen that, that's the setup that I'm using in this race. And yeah, I know this guy's a lot faster than me around the place, but I'm having fun, and hopefully some of this will be entertaining for you. So it's a rolling start here at Brands Hatch, and as we move our way around the final third of the track and drop into clearways on all the main straights, we get given the order to race, and the guy beside me dropped away quite quickly, and that put me up into 10th place. And now I just want to keep the car safe. I'll grab any low-hanging fruit if something occurs. And I'm having a little bit of a sniff up the inside here, but this bloke looks pretty committed with that late braking move, so he's not going to get out of the way. So I'm just going to keep things very, very safe. And coming down here into Druids, which is a very tricky corner, I've made room there with two wide through there, which is fine. He hasn't got to get out of my way. So as we head up now into Surtees, caught out a bit by him braking apparently a little bit early, but maybe that was to give his compromised line. And we're away now off and through Pilgrim's Drop, and first lap action. It's tempting because you always seem to be so close to the people around you, but let's just see what we can do. I'm going to try to make a move on this guy. He seems pretty active all over the track, but I'm just concentrating on keeping it safe while I take the pain. First stint on the mediums, really you're always going to be taking a bit of pain. This is the end of the first lap, and he doesn't get a brilliant exit there from what's called Sterling's. And in fact, I managed to get the drive and throw it up the inside into clearways and managed to pull through, and that is now P9. So I've gained 2 places from my opening position. So 30-minute race here is 21 laps. And I guess you could say you could divide it into 3 10-minute sections. The first 10 minutes, the soft tyre runners have got a clear advantage, and what I want to do here is stay within touching distance of these guys in front. The middle 10 minutes, things kind of even up quite a bit, and the final 10 minutes, in my experience, the medium tyre offers a massive advantage over the soft. And if I can just stay in touch and wait for that to eventuate, I might have a bit of fun. Lap 2, I'm managing to stay in touch, so that's all very positive. It's all I'm hoping to do at this stage, and enjoying the car as the balance comes in and the medium tyres come in, and really not letting anyone run away, so that's giving us a bit of hope. Now ahead of us here, somebody's going to exit the pit lane. I'm not quite sure what happened to this bloke. I think he must have had some damage because he's lost a lap already, gone in for repairs, and he's just exiting pit lane now. So he let my 2 combatants through quite willingly, which I guess I was right on top of him. Now he's entitled, if he can drive away from me, he's entitled to do so, and I think that, well, that in fact is what he's going to endeavour to do over the next lap or two. If he's got the pace to pull away, he doesn't have to pull over and let me through. Yeah, he's entitled to do that, so he hasn't slowed me down too much so far, but a little bit. You can see that's P7 and P6 in front who I'm chasing, and P17 just between us. So in this case here, he ran wide on Paddockville Bend, and that gave me my chance to get through and get back into hot pursuit. Now you'll see the little bar pop up and tell us at the bottom there that this is lap 7, so in fact we're exactly 10 minutes in. And this is now really where it comes to the business end of my execution of this race. It's time now for me to start to put significant pressure on these two cars ahead of me. Their time in the sun on their soft tyres is kind of being put in the shade, and I really should have certainly equal pace and maybe even slight pace advantage. Yeah, fun clearways here are tricky but fun corner. You've sort of got to judge it to float the nose in, and when you get enough rotation, get back on the power as quickly as you can to have good speed down the straight. Now as we approach Paddockville Bend here, I'm certainly not moving further away from them and generally getting closer to them. My car's feeling very, very consistent, and there just seems to be a marked contrast between the consistency of my car and the handful that certainly the car in front, and probably both those cars are now becoming just looking a little bit more ragged, and no doubt in the cockpit is working hard to keep the car under control on those softs and not getting the exit that he would want here out of 30s, because as you leave 30s you're powering down a very long straight, and that was all I needed to get a chance to really compete for the entry into Hawthorns. Now we're going to make a race of it. The gentleman beside me here is certainly not shying away, and we managed to go safely too wide here for a very quick corner of Hawthorns, which is nice to do, and I do manage to nose ahead, and so that's the first of these two guys passed. Yeah, it's not easy passing at Brand, so I'm going to permit myself the luxury of an external view of that move. He competed hard for the corner, and I think we both raced hard but fair, and managed to make a too wide situation work through Hawthorns, and then I was ahead by Westfield and able to command the racing line for Westfield. So now as I look ahead, the next driver, who I think now he's P6, while we were having our fight, he's managed to pull a bit of a lead, and I think at this stage it's about 3.2 seconds, and I've got a bit of time left. I think we're probably 10 minutes to go, and I've just got to put my head down, not panic, and keep working, and know that he's probably having a tougher time of it in that cockpit, keeping the car under control on his softs. Now this is a fantastic feeling, because as we arrive in the final 10 minutes of the race, not only is the gentleman in front coming back to me, but the two cars in front of him are coming back to me as well. I had a feeling of, I seem to have caught a bit of traffic here, and it felt great. So I'm full of glee here and really, really enjoying this stage of the race. But I'm not the only one eyeing opportunities. The car in front of me appears to have done a slightly better job of managing his tyres than the car in front of him, who gets a bit of a wobble there on exit of Sterling's, and he quickly makes the pass. And now I'm hoping to get through fairly quickly as well. And let's see what stance the car in front takes. Well, he takes a pretty defensive posture along pit straight, which sort of signals to me that he's not going to be letting me through anytime soon. As we compete into Paddockville Bend, I try and get a really good exit here, which is a lot easier on tyres that are working well. He moves to the right a bit to counter, and clearly is not going to sit back and let me do whatever I want to do. So we're heading up now to 30s, and the exit of 30s I mentioned very critical for the long run up to Hawthorn, and that car has had a loss of control. I've had a big run, and that's into 6th position, and we are on lap 16. 5 laps left to get the job done. So here at the entry to 30s, sorry, we're just coming up to the entry of 30s now. I use that white line as my braking marker, down to third, down to second, and I try to really hug the inside curb, and where the curb just gets thin there on the left, that's when I know I can really start to put the power down. Otherwise 30s just gets tighter and tighter on you, and you drift wide. So I've got a good run now on this gentleman in P5, and really I've got a much better exit speed there from Hawthorn. I thought for a moment we might have had contact, but I didn't feel it, and there was no damage on the car. And I did look again at the external view to make sure I hadn't done anything untoward, and in fact no, there was no contact made. It was just that his defensive line there into the second of those two fast rights, Westfield, in fact, just compromised his exit and his exit speed so much that that allowed me to get through. So we're now on lap 19, so only 2 laps to go, and Jesus Aguilar is certainly having another crack back at my position here and showing that he's not prepared to fade away. So, and we can see there in the background there, Cowboy pulling into the pit lane, and that in fact, and I don't know why, but I did see his car go up for fresh tyres, which seemed odd with 2 laps to go. But that then promoted me into actually 4th place. So Aguilar holding on quite tight now over lap 20, but I think towards the end of this lap he sort of backs out of it a bit and just lets and decides to stroke it home. We can just enjoy a bit of a view here through Hawthorn, through Westfield. And the next one's always tricky. Sheen, it's so hard to pick the braking mark here, or so the turning point. You've sort of got to turn in before you see it to get it right, and then the left-hander into Sterling's. And this is the final lap. Now ahead of me there is the driver in P3, but he may as well be a lap ahead because there's no way I'm going to catch him. And this is actually, I think, this is the final lap of the race. You'll see the checkered flag being raised very unenthusiastically and very discreetly there from the behind the wire fence. So there's the Orange Army guy on the right with the checkered flag. He was just being a little bit shy, so I thought I'd put up a still photo. If you're still with us here, thanks for doing me the honour of watching the whole video. If you want to learn more about how to set these cars up, I have done a series of videos on my channel called the Sim Racers Performance Guide, which is audio-visual support to a book by the same name that I publish. So I'll put some links on there to tell you more about that. But thanks a lot. It was great fun and awesome just to see the medium tyre strategy bear fruit. And we actually ended up marching from 11th place through to 4th place on a 19 car grid. So there they are there, and it looks like we're in split number 2. So yep, nice to see, lovely to see 7 places gained in the race. It's nice to see it when a plan comes together. So if you're not having a go in the competition system in RFactor2, get in there and have some fun. You're missing out. Bye now.